Today, I will be answering question 4 of my critical creative reflection, which the question is, how did you integrate technologies in this project? Firstly, I will talk about the hardware side. To start off, we used two cameras in this project, which was the Sony a6000 and a6400. The a6000 is my personal camera, so I am quite confident in using it. Even though it only shoots in 1080p, there are still some great features such as the autofocus and the large sensors. We also used the Sony a6400, which is the school's media department camera. It shoots in 4K and also has the autofocus feature, which was extremely useful for us. The autofocus allowed us to keep clear focus even if the subject was moving. It was also very great in low light, which were useful for some shots, like this one. On the first day, we shot all the shots using the Sony a6400, and on the second day, we shot all the shots using the a6000. Even though the a6400 is basically the newer version of the a6000, we used the a6000 purely because we thought it has nicer and paler color, as you can see in this shot. In the end, after we finished shooting, I discovered that the a6000 was set to shoot in log, whereas the a6400 was set to Rec 709. This meant we risked the lower quality for nicer colors. Another problem, which we weren't able to fix, was the shot where our character Pim and Ui walked up the stairs. The blooming light was because of the auto exposure we had accidentally set open. As we didn't check the shot after we went home, there was no way we can fix it, and we just left it in the movie. The lens we used was the C's 16 to 70mm lens. This versatile lens helped us a lot as we were able to use only one lens to shoot from all ranges, as it had a very powerful zoom. The f4 also gave us medium depth of field, which is also very versatile as we can use both a shallow depth of field when the subject is close and a deep depth of field when the subject is in medium length. This lens was a very good choice for us in general. Next, to get a steady shot, we used a tripod. For this, we also borrowed the media department tripod. The use of tripod enabled us to shoot in extreme precision when lining up the shots. As a result, we were able to compose the shots using rules such as symmetry. This allowed us to get static shots like this. We were also able to pan shots smoothly, which creates audience engagement. Without the tripod, we wouldn't be able to perfect each of our shots. For stability, we also used a school gimbal, which was the DJI RS2 Mini. The gimbal can help eliminate shaky footage, unwanted vibrations, and jitter. The RS2 Mini, in particular, is very lightweight, which made it very easy to carry around, because it is the smaller version of the DJI RS lineup. Even though it is very lightweight, we can still fit heavy cameras up to 2 kilograms. We used gimbals to shoot tracking shots like this one. But in the end, we didn't put any shots that was shot with a gimbal in the movie. This was because we focused more on static shots, which creates narrative context. Next is lighting. We used two sources of lighting, which is the Nanlite PowerTube 30C and a standard studio light. The Nanlite PowerTube 30C, as you can see here, is a very long LED stick, which is able to display a range of colors. It is also customizable, which means we can change the hue and also the temperature of the light. However, we didn't use the color feature at all because we were afraid the colors would interfere with white balance issues and skin tone. Moreover, it was just easier to just color grade, which does not interfere with the skin tone in post-production. We did use the normal light feature. We played around with different light temperatures in low light, as a different temperature can convey a different meaning. However, since it didn't have a stand, it was not very convenient to carry around. As a result, we used a standard studio light more often, as it had like a massive stand, which was very convenient. We used a warm color temperature, which gives that more authentic feel we were looking for. In some scenes, we also used the light to direct the shadows, for example this scene. For this scene, we positioned the light to the left of her, which kinds of illuminate half her face, which was very effective. Next is the sound hardware. Firstly, we used a Neumann TLM103 to capture all the sound, such as dialogue and ambience. The Neumann TLM103 is a studio standard microphone, which even though is mostly for vocals, we adapted it to be used in our movie. It is a condenser microphone with a consistent cardioid pattern. It has no buzz at all and can capture at a very high range of dynamic. This increased the definition of our sounds massively, producing extremely clear dialogue. However, as it also needed a boom to hold, it was quite very hard to carry around. Plus, it was quite heavy. So it was another challenge we faced. Moreover, in some scenes, for example this scene in particular, as it was in a very echoey staircase, our microphone captured all the echo, which was not convenient at all. As a result, we had to change to use an iPhone to record the dialogue for that scene. The iPhone, however, did a great job capturing this sound. Furthermore, we used a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 as an audio interface. This was used to transfer the analog signal to digital. It was smaller than a normal audio interface because it only had 2 channels. As a result, it was more convenient and very easy to carry around. However, even if it is the most convenient setup we had, we still had to carry it around, which took some time to set up. It was also a hassle since we only have 2 crew members for some scenes, as our teammate Peter was acting. Even that, I think it was incredibly worth it, as it provided magnificent sound. Next is software. Firstly, we used a MacBook Pro to do all of the post-production. This is because it has a lot of storage, which allows us to store all of our videos and sounds. Secondly, all of my teammates uses MacBooks, which is very convenient when transferring files. Moreover, I can run multiple softwares simultaneously, and the computer wouldn't freeze as it had a very strong CPU. After we imported the photos, we started to organize each of the shots and sounds through the use of folders. We split all the footage into day 1 and day 2. After that, we compared it to our shot list and then organized the footage and sounds into individual shots in order. This was because it will be very clear for the editor. This also reduced editing time overall. For editing, we decided to use an app called Final Cut Pro, which is an app from Apple. This is because all of our group members uses MacBook, so there would be maximum compatibility with the app. As you can see, this is my final edit of the film. When we started editing, we can just drag all the clips in order into the software. There is also a feature to the left where you can switch between different projects and drafts. As a result, we can see the difference between each draft, which is very useful in improving our edit. Final Cut Pro also has this amazing stabilizer feature, which can make our shot more smooth. We used this feature in the tilting overhead boom shot. It really helped us to make the scene more smooth, which made it look extremely professional. For all of the dialogue, we used the voice isolation feature, which rounds out all of the background noise. This made our audio extremely clear, which adds on to the realism and the professional look. I can also make graphs for the audio using the keyframe feature. If some parts of the audio is too loud or too soft, I can just bring certain parts up or down. This made it extremely convenient as we do not need to worry about the audio balance issues. There's also this fade tool where I can cross-fade the audios, making them flow smoother overall. Final Cut also provides the advanced color grading feature. They provide these graphs like the vector scope, the luma, and the RGB overlay, which is very useful as I can use them for color correction. It is also real time, so if I adjust the color wheel for example, these graphs will just change. Firstly, I use the converter to change the log footage to Rec 709. This adds to contrast to our shot, not making them pale and dull. Next, I use the color wheel to adjust basic highlights and shadows. By looking at the luma graph, I try to put everything between the 0 and 100 mark. Next, I used the hue versus hue curves to do basic skin tone correction. As Final Cut Pro conveniently has a skin tone line, I can just add a mask on the face of the character and then look at the indicator. The color wheel also allows me to play around with color temperatures. As you can see, I drag the highlights to blue, which will make the shot more cool and eerie. If I turn off the color wheel, the shot looks extremely red and warm, which is not fitting for our movie. For the rest, I played around with different graphs until it produces the shot I like. There's also this shot right here where I played around with different hues and saturation curves. This creates a very cool red look. Lastly, I added a film emulation LUT which I downloaded from the internet. This finishes off the picture very nicely. Here is a before and after. Moreover, it also has this comparison viewer window where I can just compare each shot. As a result, it made matching the colors between each shot very convenient. Furthermore, Final Cut allows us to do subtitles as well as credits and the titles. As you can see here, Final Cut has this glowy preset where I put on our title, creating a dreamy but eerie feel. As well as that, Final Cut also has many filters to replicate looks. For example, in this scene, we used a CCTV filter to create a CCTV effect, which I think was very effective. Lastly, it is in an Apple Circle, which means that I can just export my movie right into another app. That other app is Logic Pro, which is the app I use to do the sound. I decided on using this app as I already used this app for music production, so I was very proficient in using it navigating around. Logic Pro is extremely advanced. It has many cool features which helped me so much during the post-production period. As you can see here, my exported movie is right by the left. I can just see and match the sounds, which is very convenient. These knobs is where I level out each sound. I can decide on whether to make each sound softer or louder. This is used to create depth in the movie. Moreover, there's also this normalize feature where the software brings the sound up to standard level. For the sound design, I use this plugin called Omnisphere, which is a synth and samples plugin. Omnisphere includes over 600 patches and presets, which includes ambient sounds and soundscapes, which is used for film scoring. I can also filter the sound by attributes. As you can see here, I can filter by genre and category. I use genres such as ambience and sound effects, and I use categories such as noisescapes and textures. As a result, this made it very easy for us to choose the sounds which gives our desired moods and atmosphere. Moreover, this is where I can change the preset and alter the sound individually. This is very useful as I can choose whatever sound I like and prefer. After I create all of the sounds, I then add effects such as reverb and delay. Over here, I added a delay plugin on the dialogue of the ghost. This creates a more lifted and very disorientated feel. Finally, after I arranged the sound, I added a subtle EQ to cut the frequencies which are interfering with each other. The EQ also helps to improve the quality of the audio overall. The one downside to all of this software is that everything costs money. Final Cut and Logic Pro cost around £250, where the Omnisphere plugin costs around £400. But as I already have all of these softwares prior to this project, we didn't have to spend extra money.
Finally, for online. Firstly, we used YouTube to post all of our production videos, as well as the actual opening scene. As you can see here, we have a group YouTube account where we post everything. One useful feature about this is that we can set the privacy, which means that for certain videos, we can post it as unlisted. Another platform we used was Google Docs. We used this as a collaboration space to share ideas and collaborate in different tasks. For example, over here, we have a shared document where we exchange information and help each other on each of the tasks. This made our journey throughout the project more efficient and productive overall. Moreover, we used this website called Canva, which was a website where we can make presentations for free. This website was extremely useful as it had many aesthetically pleasing templates. As well as that, it can also be used to make posters such as this one. Lastly, we used this platform called Blogger to display all of my tasks and production processes. This app was very useful in organizing all of my work as well as displaying my research. One difficulty I encountered was that sometimes it wouldn't automatically save. As a result, I would lose my work. In conclusion, technology has helped our group massively throughout the project. Without technology, all of this wouldn't be possible. Moreover, I think that my skills using technology also has developed. For example, using the camera as well as editing and using apps such as Canva.